Hello. Welcome back to Mindful Scrolling. Hey guys, it's Michaela. This is our second episode. I am so excited to be sitting here recording some more crazy ramblings from me, and that you seem to have enjoyed our first episode so much. Thank you guys for the support. I actually got a lot more feedback than I expected to. So that's really encouraging. I, of course, have been praying a lot over this podcast, and honestly, I'm not doing it for recognition. I'm not doing it for some type of fame or even to become an influencer. I really pray that God uses the things that I say to hopefully minister to somebody out there, even if that's just one or two people. So thank you so much for your support, and I'm excited to continue creating content for you. Okay, so I have a bunch of notes because today we have a really exciting episode. At least I'm really excited about it. I wish that it was a little bit nicer outside because today we're talking all about spring. I am so excited for the springtime. So I go back and forth. Sometimes I like to say that spring is my favorite time of year, but then I also really love fall. So I think they both have their perks, but I'm super excited this year, especially for spring, just because I feel like I've come out of a season of a lot of disappointment and just some dark times, and spring always signifies so much beauty and everything is blooming, new birth, new beginnings, all that good stuff. And I think it's very easy to kind of fall into that same thought pattern of new beginnings and new birth. And it just makes me a lot more excited for life after, the winter is over and we just have new things to look forward to. So, all that to say, I want to get to my little morning moment. It is definitely not morning right now. It is almost 3:00, but we're going to pretend it's morning for a minute, and I'm going to talk just a tiny bit about my morning and my day. So per usual, I got up, I did my devotions, I sat near the window. The sun is not shining today, but it's still pretty nice out. It's about 65. I would say that spring has definitely sprung in South Carolina. So even on the gloomy days, it's warm out. I can sit on my porch, and I love that so much. I'm not sitting on my porch right now. This is actually a re-record. I think I am going to, Monday is going to be my recording day, and then I'm going to drop these episodes every Wednesday, hopefully around 9:00. We'll see how that goes. But I initially had recorded this episode on my porch because I have, a love seat out on my front porch, and I love sitting out there, especially when it's nice out. But unfortunately, you could hear traffic the entire time. I did not think that that was going to be picked up by my mic, and it was. Philip and I worked on trying to edit out that noise, and it just didn't work. So also, let me know if the sound quality is better on this episode. I'm actually using a microphone today, like for real. So that first episode was recorded on my AirPods and then touched up by my husband, who is a tech genius. I would have not figured out how to do that. But all that to say, so my morning moment, had my devotions per usual. I drank my latte, which was delicious, and I had a goal, which I'm so excited and so proud to say I completed, to go to the gym. And I've been working on this slowly. I started at 20 minutes, then 25 minutes. Actually, I think I started at 10 and gradually have gone up and up 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And today, for the first time ever, I completed, are you ready for this? 60 minutes doing intervals on the elliptical. Mic drop. Guys, I am so freaking proud of myself. I have been working so hard. Philip and I are actually training right now for a 5K, which is insane because I never in my life would consider myself a runner. I still have a really hard time seeing myself as a runner just because it's one of those things. Not only did I not ever have any interest in running, like why would somebody do that on purpose? Why would anybody run on purpose? And I just got it in my head. I've kind of restarted my fitness journey in the last few months. And I got it in my head, like, why can't I though? Like it's one of those things I've been telling myself for years that I don't like running, so I never will. And I just kind of woke up one day and decided, hey, I want to try running. And Philip has been running with me. Then, as added motivation, I found out about a 5K at the local zoo, which I'm going to talk more about later because I love the zoo so much. They're doing a 5K there in May. So now we actually have motivation to train to run. And I finished 60 minutes. And obviously I'm doing like actual running at the park, but I'm using the interval training on the elliptical in between. And I did 60 minutes today. So a full hour that included my cool down. And I feel exhausted. I was totally drenched in sweat. Like I could see the sweat just pouring off of me. It was disgusting. My clothes were wet and sticking to me. I had a coconut oil in my hair as a hair mask, which I highly recommend. By the way, coconut oil is so much cheaper than going out and buying hair masks, and it works really well for my hair. So I had my hair in a slick back with coconut oil. I had pimple patches because my skin's kind of angry with me and breaking out right now. And I'm just running my life out on this elliptical at the gym watching YouTube. And it was the most invigorating thing. I feel so amazing. I feel so good. So that was definitely the highlight of my morning and my morning moment. Now, drink of the day. Yes, I had my latte as I always do. But right now, I am drinking an iced matcha. So I will always be a coffee girl, but I'm also a matcha girl. Philip literally bought me a Ballcap that I had been asking for that is matcha green that says matcha latte on it. For several years, I only drank matcha because I couldn't tolerate the acidity and coffee, and that's been a long journey of healing my stomach, and I'm able to handle espresso now. But that's all I drank for years is matcha. I came back from Thailand from a missions trip in 2017, and I had matcha for the first time when I was in Southeast Asia. I became addicted to it. So without rambling too much on about that, I am currently drinking a matcha. I want you to hear it because I have hopefully the mic will pick this up, a glass straw. Yeah. So it's kind of perfect. I've been using for years the Mighty Leaf brand of matcha, and I don't know, I just feel like the quality has really gone down in the last couple of years. You can always tell. First of all, matcha should always be ceremonial grade, and I started on Mighty Leaf before I really understood what matcha is supposed to look and taste like. Mighty Leaf is just not cutting it for me anymore, and you could always tell the quality by the color. So instead of like that bright green, it has more of a yellowish tint, and it tastes bitter. Matcha should never be bitter. So I still have some just because out of desperation, that's what I had to buy recently because that's all that my local grocery store had, but it just wasn't cutting it for me, so I kind of stopped drinking it for a while. Today, I have that, just like a scoop of that, mixed with the Chamberlain matcha from Emma Chamberlain's company. And it's the vanilla flavored. It's okay. It's still, so hers is ceremonial grade, but it's still not that beautiful bright green that I'm looking for. I mean, okay, so looking at my glass right now, it's pretty dang green, but it's still, I don't know. I think it could be better. So I think it could be better, but it tastes good. The vanilla is not, it's not artificially flavored or anything. It's not overpowering. I add a little bit of cinnamon in with that, with my ice and my almond milk, some honey, and I've been cold whisking. So I actually have been adding my my matcha powder to cold either water or more almond milk, and I whisk that really good, make it nice and creamy, and then I pour it over my milk and my ice. So I'm drinking that right now, and it's pretty delicious. We're gonna take a little break here, take a sip of it. Yeah, it's really good. So leave me in the comments what you have been enjoying right now. If you have any matcha or coffee recipes that you're making at home, or even if there's like a local or like Starbucks, whatever, like coffee drink that you like, I absolutely like would love to hear what your go-to order is. But let's just go ahead and jump right into today's topic. I have been listening to a bunch of podcasts about spring, and I felt inspired to do my own little spring checklist sort of moment. So, yeah, here in South Carolina, spring has definitely sprung. Most days has been anywhere from, 60s to 80s. So it's been perfect weather. I'm honestly dreading the next couple of months. Probably, see, we're always like a month or two ahead here seasonally. So I'm going to say definitely end of May, beginning of June. It's just going to be full blown summer here. I kind of dread that season because it's so hot. We are actually on the border of South Carolina and Georgia, and once you start going Georgia, I mean, you're deep south at this point, guys. Like I have freaking alligators like less than 5 minutes away from my house, okay? I never in my life thought that I would be living in a place near alligators, and I can go on my walks and see alligators, especially right now when they're all hatching. Oh my gosh, like pretty much every day. I saw like 7 or 8 of them just the other day on my walk, and it's the coolest thing ever. I'm probably driving everybody crazy with all of the alligator content that I've been posting because I just think they are the coolest things in the world. It's also amazing how many people that I meet on my walks just talking about like alligator love. Like people will walk by me and be like, hey, did you see the one over there? Or like, I saw a baby one kind of like in the lily pads, and it's really fun. It's like this like cool community thing almost, but definitely a sign that we are in our, warmer season, and I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I can now because it will be over very, very quickly, and it's going to be so hot outside that you don't want to be outside, and you're immediately drenched, and there's, it rains and it's so humid out that there's steam coming up from the sidewalk. If you live in the South, and you know, but all this to say, so I think the first thing I kind of want to talk about, and funny, I'm so not organized, guys. This is actually point 3 in my notes, but we're going to make it point 1, okay? So talking about fitness, and I just kind of briefly want to touch on this. I don't want to make this a whole episode about fitness, but something that has been really helping me, and I would love to work with them at some point, is an app called Strava. It's Strava, Strava. So Philip actually introduced me to this app. And for those of you who may or may not know Philip, you've heard me mention him a ton, and maybe you figure this out, but he's my husband. But through his work, they were doing like a March fitness challenge, and he got the Strava app, and he turned it on a couple times, different things we were doing, walking, whatever. and got me interested in using it. So I downloaded it. And guys, I love this app. Not only, and you don't have to have, you can use a smartwatch, but you don't have to have one in order to use the app. Not only does it record your workout, so if you go on a long walk, you can start your Strava app and it will use a GPS to track how many steps you've walked, your distance, miles, things like that. You can do Pilates on there. You can record a run. You can record a workout, a like random workout, or even like there's a button on there for elliptical. And it'll record exactly what you did. You get to add, it's kind of like social media. It's really cool because you get to add friends, and then you also get to add pictures and videos if you want to, and share it with everybody. And it's just the most motivating, coolest thing. It's been awesome for tracking all different kinds of fitness. For me and for Philip, and then we've gotten our friends and family on it too. So if anybody's on Strava and you want to add me, please do. I think it's the most fun way of staying accountable with, friends and family and people you know. And it's just motivated me a lot to stay on top of my workouts. So right now I am, like I said, running. I'm doing intervals on the elliptical. I'm throwing in Pilates here and there just to keep up on core and it's not strength training per se because I'm not lifting weights, but it's body weight calisthenics, and I do find my shoulders and arms get more toned, and I just feel stronger in general when I'm doing Pilates. I definitely want to start incorporating them more because I like Pilates and it's an easy, fun workout that I could do at home. But since right now I am cutting and trying to slim down a little bit, I'm just kind of doing it here and there when I'm not going to the gym or walking or running or whatever that I'm doing in the meantime. I walk pretty much every day, especially it's overcast today, but I probably, on an average day, I would definitely go on a walk, but since I did 60 minutes on the elliptical, I don't know. We'll see, but I'm walking every day, and I love to habit stack that with a podcast or with an audiobook. Speaking of audiobooks, do you guys want to hear anything about what I'm reading? I love Bookstagram, as they call it, and BookTube. I am avid on Goodreads. I love to read. Most of my reading does come through audiobooks, but I like physically reading as well, and I would love to share that with you guys if that's something that you want to hear about. Because I'm constantly reading something, literally constantly. I've already read 27 books this year. And my goal is, what is my goal this year? I read 102 in 24. And then this year I have my goal set for 120, but I'm definitely going to go way past that, I'm sure. So I would love to talk about books. If that's something that you guys want to hear about, let me know. But anyway, yeah, I like to habit stack my hot girl walks with, reading or listening to an audiobook or listening to a podcast, things like that, talking on the phone. So fitness is definitely a big one for me right now this spring, and doing it mostly for mental health purposes. Walking is the best therapy, in my opinion, for anyone. I just love getting outside in the sunshine, and not only am I working on my body, but also working on my mind. So it's great. I highly recommend it. Going on to point 2. This is kind of maybe going to be a little bit of a longer section here. I want to talk about my spring must-haves. So not necessarily, some of them are trends, but not necessarily trends. I feel like I do dress according to some trends, but I also just like dopamine dressing and just wearing whatever makes me happy. Right now, I am all about space buns. And you have probably seen it in some of my photos that I posted on social media. But this is a new thing for me, and I am not sure where it came from. I just tried it out one day and kind of fell in love and feel like they look cute with literally anything. Okay, so years ago, I think I tried high space buns and I felt really stupid. They looked like pom-poms. And they made me I don't know, they didn't work for me, but I'm doing like the low ones. So basically, I'm just making like two little half ponytail bun things, like right under my ear. And just taking that and pinning that up and kind of, forcing it into a bun shape and then fluffing it out. They look so cute with everything, and that's been giving me so much joy. So I've been doing like the whole space bun thing. That's been my vibe. And then so like think about this: so space buns, walking by a body of water, sitting by a body of water, even if you have to drive to find one. I think doing devotions by the river would be awesome. That's definitely something that's on my bucket list for this spring. I haven't done it yet just because I love my morning routine, and I'm also so like, I don't know, lazy, I guess, in the morning, that I'd rather just sit on my couch and do my devotions. But I think taking my journal and my Bible to the river and doing my devotions at the river would just be amazing. So space buns, hot girl walk, find a body of water, find a lake, a river. If you live near the ocean, the beach, even better. It's just, that's the vibe this year. So my personal aesthetic, I guess, is kind of coastal, and I didn't even realize I wasn't doing it on purpose, so I wasn't even realizing that, but I kind of created accidentally my own capsule wardrobe, and I figured this out a couple weeks ago. I was going through my closet and trying to find an outfit to wear for a girls trip with my sister just for the day, and I was putting outfits together, and I realized I had just enough basic like linen pants and like just a couple of cute neutral colored tank tops, things like that, button downs, to make multiple outfits. I think I put together like 7 or 8 outfits literally from like maybe 4 or 5 pieces. So that was really exciting and also kind of surprising because it definitely had a coastal vibe. I've got a lot of linen, like I said, button downs, which is kind of a newer thing for me, but I'm trying it out. I've never been a button down person. I have a white and like pale blue button down that looks cute with everything. Just a couple of basic tank tops, cream, white, some blacks, again, light blues. Really, really into pastels, and I've been seeing pastels everywhere. I am excited because I've had a thrift store list of like wish list of clothing items that I want to find for the spring and summer. And yesterday when I was at Goodwill, I actually found a pair of blue and white striped linen pants, which was one of my top items on my wish list. Also, like along that note, I thrift 90% of my clothes. I absolutely love thrifting, and I recommend thrifting if you haven't tried it. It's so much fun, and you're able to freshen and refreshen your wardrobe as much as you want because you're only paying maybe at the most $7 for an item that would probably, depending on the brand, could be a lot more if you bought it new in stores. And, you could, girl math, you can always get rid of something in your closet and add a new piece. And then, it kind of balances itself out. But just a few things on my wish list for spring this year. So I found the striped pants. I'm really excited about that. I also got a pair of these. It's not linen, but it's also, I don't really know how to describe the fabric type because it's definitely not denim. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the tag said 100% cotton. So I guess they're just cotton, like sage green shorts that I'm really excited to style. I could see that with like a cute little white tank top and maybe a little button down, like left open. Yeah, that could be really, really cute. But so more linen pants, absolutely. I would love to get a red and white stripe pair. Um, Anything kind of nautical as far as jewelry, so anything with shells, gold chunky jewelry, things like that. I want to get like a lemon or banana yellow sweatshirt. I saw somebody doing that on Instagram and pairing the sweatshirt with the striped pants, and I thought that was the cutest thing in the world. So definitely am looking for one of those. And that is kind of, I guess, more button downs, but oh, boxer shorts. I want to find a pair of boxer shorts because I see them everywhere, but I haven't found a pair yet that I like. And I just think they're really, really cute. I would love to get a pair of the like red gingham or blue or even yellow. I think it would look really, really cute. At the at the thrift store yesterday, I found a pair of green and white ones, and they were almost perfect, except they had like a little on the band, there was like a little shamrock. So they were definitely for St. Patrick's Day, and I just don't think that was what I was going for at all. And so I put them back. It was a little bit sad, but um so yeah, so thrifting is always so much fun. In my spring must-have list, I also have written down iced rosemary and orange latte. And I I have not tried making this at home yet. I stick kind of to my honey, cinnamon, almond milk lattes at home, but I think it would be really fun to try. I when I was in Greenville with my sister, I had a iced latte with rosemary and orange syrup, and it was so delicious and so spring. So, yeah, I think that's a really unique and yummy, like spring inspired latte idea if you're into making your own lattes at home. Let's see what else I've got on here. Oh, I am all about overalls this spring. I have a couple pair of short overalls one that I've had for years from Target, another one that I thrifted. And then for my birthday, Philip surprised me with the Free People overalls that have the barrel leg, which I've never owned anything in barrel leg before. Like, there's barrel leg jeans, but these are barrel leg overalls. And I wasn't sure how that was going to look on me. I'm, full disclosure, extremely short, like unusually so. I'm under 5 feet tall, so I didn't know if it was going to make me look too boxy or even shorter. But I really think after putting on these overalls that these are like the barrel shape might be the most universally flattering shape on like jeans or overalls or pants in general that I have ever put on. So now I really want a pair of jeans in the barrel cut. But I love, love, love these overalls. And it was really cute because he was listening to me. We walked into a Free People sometime before my birthday, and I was really excited to see the overalls. I didn't pick them up that day because they're quite expensive, but I just said to him like, oh my gosh, I really, really want these. And he listened to me and he got them for me for my birthday, which I thought was just the sweetest thing ever. So I'm going to be wearing these things to death. I've already worn them several times. So cute. Like, overalls are so cute for anything. They're so in right now. But I'm thinking a little farmer's market, or like Philip and I went to a art festival a couple of weeks ago and I wore them there. They're versatile. They're cute when you don't know what to wear. You just throw on your overalls. You can put a bralette under them, or a little crop top. You can layer them for winter. It's just, I'm really excited to have these overalls in my wardrobe now because I can wear them in so many different ways and I'll have them for years. So very, very, very excited. Okay, so that was point 2. Let's move on to point 3. I have written down fun employed. So I saw a girl on Instagram call herself fun employed recently, and I loved that. And at the time, actually, weirdly enough, between my first episode and this one, I was definitely fun employed. So instead of saying unemployed or between jobs, I was fun employed. But this is really, really exciting. Literally in the last week, I have gotten some pretty good leads for the business that I have been wanting to start for years. So I'm really, really excited and praying that that's going to take off. It is definitely more word of mouth than anything else right now. So instead of fun employed, I think I might actually once again be self-employed, which I'm super just like thrilled, like huge answer to prayer. My faith is the most important thing in my life. And I can't remember. I want to say in my first episode, I talked a little bit about how difficult it was for me when Philip and I first got married and we moved from Greenville, South Carolina, which I'm originally from Ohio, but I moved to South Carolina. It'll be 7 years this October. So Greenville was the place that I kind of settled and made a life for myself. I think it was one of the first things that ever truly felt like mine. I don't know if that makes sense, but it felt like it became my home. I really turned it into my home. So moving has been a really, really big adjustment. And it's a little embarrassing to say, but 2.5 years later, it still can be really hard. So I was having devotions last week sometime, and I had been feeling, I had recently visited Greenville with my sister, like I've mentioned a couple times now, and I'd just been feeling down after coming back, like kind of back in that place of, wow, I wish I was still there, whatever, just these intrusive thoughts. And I quickly threw up this prayer that was kind of just like, God, I surrender this to you, and I really want to try to embrace where I am now and not make this so much of a focus. It's incredible to me how sometimes you think that those big, deep prayers where you're crying and just pouring yourself out before God are the only ones that can be answered. At least I fall into that mindset sometimes. Like the deeper I pray, the more I intercede, the longer the prayer, the more impact it's going to make. No. Sometimes it's those little prayers, those brief prayers, the ones that don't feel very significant at all, that you're just throwing up quickly, that get answered. I'm talking. Guys, I am talking the same day, maybe an hour or less later, I got my first client interested in my new business. What? Like, what? I don't have words for that. This is something that I have been talking about doing for so long. And I've just been telling myself I can't do it. And really what that comes down to is not that I couldn't do it, it's that I didn't want to. And it's hilarious to me because I am one of those people that will preach to pretty much everybody else. Of course, I don't ever take my own advice, but pretty much preach to everybody else that, hey, if you want something bad enough, you just have to have the motivation to do it, and you can do anything you set your mind to. Well, I fell into this slump for, it was a long time, guys. It was a long time of telling myself, well, this is where I am. This is, what I'm doing now. And these dreams, they'll happen someday. Well, I am here to tell you once again that sometimes you just got to take that first step. Even if your faith is as teeny tiny as the smallest grain of mustard seed. The smallest mustard seed, that made no sense. The smallest grain of mustard seed. The smallest mustard seed. You get the point. The tiniest little grain. And just take that first step. You just dunk your toe in. It's amazing how God can come through when we take that little step. I mean, pray about it, of course. Don't just, blindly walk into something without going to God first. But, okay, so yeah, that ended up being a little bit, it went deeper and ramblier than I was expecting it to be. What point was I on? I think point 3. Yeah, I was talking about being fun employed and now being self-employed. So yeah, I'm still fun employed. Like, listen, I am at a point in my life, I really don't feel, for me personally, like I will ever go back to a corporate job. It just does not fit me or my personality in any way, shape, or form. And I am blessed enough right now to be able to be at home and kind of figure out what that next step is. You don't have to be in your, young adult years, your 20s, your teens, to be confused about what your next step is in life or even what your life mission is. You could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and still not know, and that's perfectly normal and that's okay. It's really, really easy to put so much pressure on ourselves to have life figured out. I don't know if Gen Z deals with this as much, but I definitely think it's a facet of being a millennial. We are so confused about our destiny. Have any of you noticed that? I'm not 100% sure where that comes from statistically, but I feel like I have talked to and just observed so many millennials where I don't know if it was just like that whole mindset of reach for the stars. There's just this like prevalent and accepted idea that we're never doing enough and that we could always be doing more. And I am definitely a victim of that. Philip asked me recently if I feel guilty about being happy, and I had to really stop and think about that, because sometimes, yeah, I think I do. And I think a lot of people between the ages of what is considered millennial now? I think it's 1996 until or is it 97? Yeah. 96. I think it's 96 to 2024. No, sorry. I have that totally wrong, because 2024 was the end of Gen Z and now we have Alpha. If you know, somebody tell me. I don't feel like Googling it right now. But anyway, I think that sometimes it's easier to feel guilty about resting or taking a rest day because we've programmed ourselves and because everybody in our generation believes that we always have to be pushing for that next thing. We've always got to be reaching for the stars. And it's okay to take a step back and to just figure out what the heck you want to do. And if that is a season where you're not doing anything, that's okay. You aren't wasting your life. You aren't a failure, and you are not going to look back with regret. Now, obviously, if you never find that and you never do anything and you decide to move to Costa Rica and live on an island with the toucans and the howler monkeys, I think you're extremely successful. So go do that. Absolutely. Go do that. Yeah, I've got Costa Rica on the brain. That's another like random thought, but we're talking about going there on vacation this year. So, yeah, I definitely have like rainforests and toucans and all that on the brain. Okay, point. I think we're on point. Are we on point four? I think it's point four. Yeah. So, real quick, I wanted to touch on solo dates, um, and just dates in general, because point five is going to be couple date ideas, but for point four, solo dates are so important, guys. If you are married or dating or in a long-term relationship, you know that that person is your best friend, but you spend a lot of time with them, which is fine. That's normal. You should. I'm going to take a quick little break for a sip of matcha. Yeah, I had to do double sip there. That's really good. I do like the Chamberlain matcha. That's really, really good. But yeah, I think it's really important in self-care to take yourself out on a date every once in a while. And that could be, literally anything. It's so important to be comfortable with yourself and to be okay with spending alone time. I am very much a 50-50, half extrovert, half introvert. And I think the older I've gotten, I actually lean more introverted than extroverted at this point, or at least I think so. Because then when I'm around people, I feel energized and it's very confusing. I get energy from both, guys. I get energy from both. Recently, I took myself on a solo date. This probably sounds crazy, but it was so much fun. I drove, are you ready for this? An hour and a half. No, it was an hour and 19 minutes. An hour and 19 minutes to a coffee shop that I'd never been to before. Now, unfortunately, the coffee was not good. So it felt a little bit like a wasted trip because I was really excited for the coffee. And, this place was highly rated and had great reviews and everything. So that was disappointing. But what kind of made up for it was the bookshop that was also in the coffee shop. So it was a coffee shop slash bookstore. So that was a lot of fun. And I spent some time just kind of browsing and sitting and, flipping through some of the books that were there, whatever. I also went to a Goodwill on the way home and picked up a dress that I think I'm going to wear in Easter that I'm really excited about. Did I need it? Probably not, but it was like $5. It's this, I actually have no idea what the brand is because the tag was cut out. Somebody, I realized this afterward, the dress is a size large, and when I put it on, I couldn't understand why it fit me just based on the sizing. But it looks like somebody actually took the seam down the back and made a new seam to make the dress smaller, which benefits me because it fit like a glove. But it's a yellow maxi dress with little white flowers all over it. Very 90s, very 2000s, very cute. So really excited about that. But yeah, solo dates go into the whole idea of romanticizing your life, romanticizing your days. If you've got, a day off or time on your hands, I highly recommend taking yourself out, maybe getting yourself a little lunch, maybe taking a long walk somewhere. Like I said earlier, finding a body of water because there is nothing more peaceful than sitting or walking near a body of water. And, getting up, and not every day, like today is a day for me where I'm totally did not do this, but getting up and doing your hair and makeup and putting on a cute outfit just helps you feel more productive for your day if you are spending it alone or if you are at home and maybe don't have plans to go out. Today is not one of those days for me. I have no makeup. I'm dealing with a little bit of a breakout right now on my skin, so I'm trying to let it breathe. And I have my hair up in socks right now, doing sock curls. So it is not the day for me today, but so moving on to our next point, potential couple date ideas for spring. A few of these we've already done and I want to continue to do even going into summer, but a farmer's market is always always a vibe. You cannot go wrong with a farmer's market. There is one in Columbia, South Carolina that happens every Saturday called Soda City. It is so much fun. It's actually a year-round market, which I personally don't want to go to a farmer's market in the winter, but you know, it's there for those who want to do that sort of thing. South Carolina, we get rain, like a lot of rain and cold in the winter. So it doesn't snow very often, but it's miserable and it's wet. So I save the farmers markets for the spring and the summer. We just got to go to our first one a couple weeks ago, and it was a lot of fun. I cannot wait to go back, but you can never go wrong with a good farmers market. You get to see what your local artisans and small business owners are selling and promoting. You might, we didn't get anything this time, but it's always fun to pick up little local goodies, you know, maybe some farm fresh produce or flowers. We haven't done this again in a little while, but we were buying sourdough bread for a while, which interestingly enough, as somebody who is very gluten intolerant, I found out that I can tolerate sourdough, like real sourdough. So that's something I like to get at the market. Another fun idea is a day trip to maybe a town that's, you know, maybe a little bit further away, 2-3 hours away. If you guys want a more comprehensive guide and live in the southern part of the country and some of the larger, more touristy towns and cities like Charleston, Atlanta, Savannah, Georgia, you know, places like that, let me know. I think I'm a little bit of a, only for, you know, myself and family, but a little bit of a travel planner. And it is just so much fun to plan little day trips. So Philip and I are actually going into Charlotte this weekend for Philip's birthday, and I cannot be more excited. It's been a minute since we went on a little, well, and this isn't even a day trip. This is going to be a little overnight trip, but a day trip or overnight trip is such a fun date idea to do with your spouse or your partner. A picnic, this is something we have not done yet, but I really want to do a picnic by the river sometime this spring. We honestly haven't done too many picnics down there, and I don't really know why, because it's such a beautiful area and I see people doing it all the time. So that's definitely something I want to do more of this year, is picnics by the river. Let's see, art festivals are always a really, really good time. And the zoo, going back to the zoo, I was talking about that earlier with the 5K that's coming up. I love the zoo. It does not matter how old I get. I am a child when it comes to going to the zoo. It is just my favorite thing in the world. I'm a huge animal lover, and I just cannot think of anything more fun than going to the zoo for the day. Like putting on a cute outfit, maybe taking out those overalls we were talking about, some comfy shoes, and walking around the zoo with your partner or your spouse. Or, you know, a girlfriend, a sister, whatever. I could not think of anything more fun. Like, that is literally just like, that's the ultimate fun for me. And if you are wanting more date ideas and you just don't know how, or even solo date ideas and you just don't know how to find them, your local city social media pages are a great resource. That's how I find out about almost all the events that we go to. So look for those, you know, on Instagram and probably Facebook. I don't use Facebook, but those local social media pages are going to be your best friend when it comes to finding fun things to do in spring and summer this year. I think, was that the last one? Okay, yeah, I think we covered everything. That was my 5 points for a spring 2025 checklist and what I'm doing this spring and what I recommend, because it's just such a fun time of year. Everything is new, everything is exciting. It just makes me feel so motivated to wake up and see the sun shining and to not have to wear heavy coats and sweaters, and take out some of the spring wardrobe. I really it's just one of my favorite times of year. So I've been almost talking for almost an hour. So hopefully this will come in better as far as audio because of the new microphone. I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast, this chat today, and that you really did feel like you were sitting in my living room chatting with me. As always, I would love to hear any feedback that you have, any ways that I can improve the podcast, any topics that you are interested in hearing from me. And I cannot wait to talk to you next week and see you soon. Love you guys. Bye.